Hello and welcome back to the Spin the Rock podcast. I am your host, Angel, and with me today are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
Sorry, my dog jumped on my lap to get something off my desk. um, today is of course the annual Wheel Spin episode, but before we get into that, we have two pieces of news. Um, Starting with Danny Green has officially retired from, I think it's just like basketball in general, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So he's Dunzo with the game of ball. How do y'all feel about this? What do you think when you saw the news?
I saw it and then forgot about it like 5 minutes later.
Like,
That's no
God.
diss to Danny Green, but like it was a long time coming. I don't think he even played last year, So yeah, like he retired 4 times. Was it 3 or 4 time champ?
Three,
Three. Yeah.
two
Did
with
it
the or no, it was one with the
Spurs?
Lakers. Yeah, Spurs and Raptors.
Yeah. Okay. So he's been a very big part of the NBA, like unexpectedly. Like no one thinks Danny Green but like you gotta put him up there. He's been around and he can win. So congrats to him.
Yeah, I mean, I have my good thoughts. I have my bad thoughts, but he was a good enough player. Had a splendid career. Um, and wish him the best.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, definitely gonna be not that different without him. But props to him. I mean, he was crucial to one of those rings he won. Um, I do though think that like it kind of sucks that one of the bigger pieces of his career is tied with the Lakers hate of like straight up getting full on threats during that series. That's kind of like it kind of sucks that like that's gonna be a big footnote in his career, but at the same time, like I feel like there's a lot of other good stuff he'll be remembered for.
Mhm.
All right, and then Shams, I think we kind of all saw it coming. He is officially the new ESPN inside reporter. He's gonna be the new Woj bomb. I feel like. How do y'all feel about this? Do you think it'll actually be any different, or do you just think it's like you kind of knew it was gonna happen either or?
I mean, pretty much saw it coming from a mile away. When he first got introduced, or maybe not even introduced, but like people were like, "Oh, like there's another Woj. Who is this?" And then it kind of like divided fan bases between Woj and Shams, and then everyone can join together. And now Woj is retired, so like we saw it coming slowly but surely. Um, I'm just anticipating what his equivalent of the Woj bomb is going to be. Like, what are we going to call? What name are we going to give Shams tweets? You know, so we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, like this was basically destiny for him because I think Woj helped him early on in his career. Um, and he seems like right for it. Like I don't know if you've heard him describe like what goes into the job, but he's like on his phone 24/7. Like if he gets a phone call in the middle of the night, he's there to answer it. Um, so he sounds like he's ready for that. And then also makes much more sense for Woj to retire because I saw a report now. I don't know how true it is or not, but like the day after Woj retired, he got a phone call for GM. Like, hey, I'm going to make this big move. He's like, frankly, I don't give a damn. So it sounds like an exhausting job. So I think throughout the years we've seen Shams be like the number two to Woj and him taking up the front man spot. Like it's like a perfect situation for I would say us fans and Shams.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I think I think it's gonna be really interesting to see though is like, do you think Shams is gonna have, Woj had Shams. Who do you think Shams is gonna have, bro? Like, I feel like it's kind of like when Woj retired, that's something that's kind of like been underrated. Was like Woj and Sam's kind of not. They definitely weren't competing, but it was like it was for a long time. You're Team Shams or Team Woj.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Sham's gonna have a insider rival, or if it's just gonna be like just him for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Loki might have a monopoly for a little while here. I know like there's other guys like Brian Windhorst or Chris Haynes. They'll have a report every now and then. But that man Shams, he'll always be number one.
Right.
Yeah, true. All right. Little hot seat because I know this is still technically a preseason topic. And today's hot seat question is, how excited are you for your own team? For your own team, Celtics, Lakers, how excited are you? What are your feelings going into the 24-25 season?
I can be short and sweet about it. I'm thrilled. Like even I haven't really been watching preseason, but seen highlights, and they look just as good as they were before. Even some of the guys that really didn't see playing time next year or last year look pretty good this year. Only worry is Kristaps is out till like All-Star break, but like they've been good without him in the past.
Yeah.
Like they can hold on in the East especially. So I'm pretty excited.
I mean, I'm not as excited as Vaughn may be, but I'm still pretty excited in hopes of if we stay healthy, I feel like we can have a tremendous season even in the stacked Western Conference. And then on top of that, although I think he shouldn't even be in the NBA right now, I'm excited to see how Bronny performs in his rookie season. And same with our other rookie, Dalton, because he's an actual hooper. So should be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, for me, I'm excited to see how we bounce back from kind of getting like kicked out of the playoffs earlier than most people expected. I mean, I'm pretty sure all three of us had the Nuggets going to the finals, and like a lot of people, especially Nuggets fans, had them repeating because it just seemed like we were so unstoppable the year before. So I'm excited to see how we bounce back, how we look. I'm excited to see Russ. I know Michael Porter Jr. said he's gonna try to get him a ring. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm just excited to see how we look as a team. With something to prove again, because I feel like last year we didn't really have that oomph.
Yeah.
least he-
Nuggets will be cool to see too. Just more or less like a new look Nuggets. Because now y'all have 2 MVPs basically on your team. So it's like, how is that going to work along with one of the best guards currently in the NBA? So the team dynamic will be interesting for sure, but I think it'll work out. At least I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it was just preseason, but that man Russ was hitting his shots. Like that's always exciting to see, especially for Russ. But watching this makes me feel like not so much Russ has all this pressure coming in this season. I feel like Christian Brown, like after KCP is gone, he's really got to like fill that spot, all that role on offense and defense, hit your shots from 3-point range when Jokic passes it to you, and then honestly defend some of the toughest guys on the other team too. So I think a lot of this hinges on just one guy who's only been in the league for like a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see him get, because it's not like he wasn't getting playing time. Like he was one of one of the few rookies in a long time that like had solid minutes. But I'm excited to see how he does as like a full-time starter. Because for the longest time he was like kind of that spark plug kind of guy. Come in, do some crazy things, kind of unsuspecting. But we'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see how it works out this year. All right. Before we get into the wheel spin, we also have another little subtopic, which is one team that we are excited for and one team that we're sleeping on. Could not care less about it. Who wants to kick us off with their excited team?
I can go. I mentioned them, I think, last episode, but the Spurs, and I was mostly talking about Wemby in that scenario. But now that Chris Paul is there, the other young guys on the team, I imagine, will benefit. Like, look at last year, Jonathan Kuminga kind of sprouted on the Warriors, and I think a lot of that was because Chris Paul was allowing those offensive opportunities for Kuminga, whereas Steve Kerr just wasted him. So at least the young guys, Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, Keldon Johnson, like they've shown flashes of like their positive ends on both offense and defense. But I think Chris Paul can at least help them find consistency, and that's what I'm excited for. Like if they start, gradually improving like they're supposed to this year, they might make a run for play-in. Might. I'd love to see it.
Y'all are gonna absolutely hate my answer.
Wait. Before we move on to your answer, I do have something to say about the Spurs, and which is Wemby might be almost unstoppable this year with an actual point guard, bro. Like that man, like the clips of Wemby wide open in the paint and then not getting the ball because someone decided to shoot a contested 3-pointer instead. Like that probably will like be non-existent now with Chris Paul like getting him the ball.
Not
And
only that,
like
but just like think lobs. Like we already saw one highlight in preseason. The lobs. This Wemby might be the biggest lob threat since DeAndre Jordan. Like
yeah,
this would be exciting for both of them.
it's
Oh no, you got Angel.
it's just gonna be exciting to see the ball actually be like moved around, bro. Because I couldn't stand watching the Spurs last year, bro. Like I wanted to watch Wemby games so badly, but every time I put the Spurs on, all it did was make me mad. Because like my
Well,
team
that's also
gave
too like because they were, well, maybe not the whole team, but some players were purposely avoiding passing him the ball for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So it was like that's another reason why Spurs games were so boring.
true,
Yeah.
very true.
And not to harp too much on Wemby too much, but like last year he was already in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, and to see him like improve like that, or expectedly, especially I think he put on like 20 pounds of muscle over the summer. I I don't want a depoy this year for him. It's coming down the line. Give it to my man Bam, but he
Bam is
sounds
never
scary.
winning that shit, bro. That man's been a finalist his entire career and has yet to win it.
Yeah, it definitely hurts because it's a fact, bro. You're totally true.
My answer, you guys probably will not like, but I'm gonna say the 76ers.
Interesting.
They've made all of these championship caliber moves, signing pretty good role players, obviously with the big signing of Paul George this summer. If they can't win this year, they got to blow it up. Everything. Front office, team, everything. Something is wrong if they don't at least get further than the second round. They have no excuse. I mean, disregarding injuries. Like if they're entering the playoffs for the most part healthy, can actually win some games, then they have no reason to not go past the second round. And I'm just excited to see Paul George, like how Paul George and Embiid click. They seem like pretty good friends, I guess. Embiid was trying to recruit Paul George as hard as he could, which he successfully did, obviously. So, yeah, I'm just excited to see the duo go at it and see how high they can get up in the Eastern Conference standings. See if they can get above 3.
Yeah, like I actually think they'll be a fun team to watch in the regular season for me personally. Come playoff time, though, that's where I start like the doubt seeps in, especially with not just Joel Embiid's health, but Paul George as well. It's always so unlucky it comes during playoffs. I totally also agree with you. This is like make or break for them because like if you lose second round again, what do you do to improve the roster? Like you have really good role players, you got all stars around Joel Embiid. This is like do or die for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree that they're gonna be so fun to watch during the regular season. And then like, yeah, as a 76ers fan, you're just hoping that like you can finally get that push to conference finals. Uh I think what's gonna suck the most is like, yeah, I think like if they don't get past the second round this time, bro, like when are you when it like I feel like Embiid is probably gonna have to start thinking about like, okay,
Like
maybe it's
leaving.
yeah, and maybe it's time for me to move on. You've had Ben Simmons, James Harden, now Paul George. Like at that point, you're probably like, doesn't matter who you put on this team, we're losing in the second round. Like, yeah, it's just you just kind of have to just blow it all up.
Mm.
You know what I worry about the most is Paul George. Because before Tobias Harris got that huge contract, it was between Tobias and Jimmy. He was seen as a really good player. Like during his Clippers time, when he got traded there, he was a good piece to them. That's why they signed him. But even if he was putting up 20, 18 a game, the fans hated his ass. Now that Tobias Harris is out, I don't want that for Paul George. So if they do fall short, I hope the Sixers can just move on from Paul George. If that's the case, someone else would want him. I guarantee you.
But then it's at that point, it's like, where is he gonna go? Like he's been obviously other than the Pacers, Kawhi recruited him and Joel Embiid recruited him. So it's like, who else, I guess, needs a small forward, good friends with Paul George, and is willing to recruit them on their team? So it's like after the Sixers, like, I mean, I didn't even see him going to the Sixers, but after the Sixers, where is he going?
Yeah.
There will be a desperate team out there, probably the Warriors. Like they want anything they can get.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's true.
Well, that and also like, do you put all your chips in Maxi once you blow it up, bro? Or do you think they'll get rid of Maxi too, bro? Because like they definitely could get a lot for Maxi.
They could, but then they'd be in that weird purgatory spot. You know what I mean? Like they're not rebuilding, but they're not contending. I feel like they have to rebuild around Tyrese, bro, because he's still super young.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case. I just I really hope they have a good playoff run because they're definitely gonna be fun during the regular season, bro. They always are.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Joel Embiid was hurt last year, like it was nice to see Maxi be like the main guy. And then like not only that, but like I don't know, bro. I just can't stand to see the Sixers like just choke year after year.
Right.
All right. My excited team kinda of a no-brainer because I'm kinda biased towards a player they got. I'm excited for the Kings, bro.
Okay, I didn't think you were gonna say the Kings, bro. I
Who do you
thought you
think
were
I
gonna
was gonna
say.
say?
I thought you were gonna say the Magic, bro.
Oh no, bro. No, I'm not that high on the Magic, bro. The Kings, they have probably two of the clutchest players in the league are now on the same team together, bro. Like that's gonna be so fun to watch. Um, they kind of, they had their high. They kind of struggled a little bit last season. I feel like now with DeMar and just like the steps they're taking with keeping on, forgetting his name, keeping on Malik Monk. You know, I just think they're gonna be fun to watch this year. Like fourth quarter is must see TV for the Kings. I honestly feel like close game. You can't I feel like it's gonna be hard to count them out. The only thing I'm not excited for is their defense. That
Didn't
defense
get
is
any
gonna be
better.
that defense is not gonna be it's gonna be high scoring games when the Kings are in town, bro. Always bet the over if you're trying to do a Kings parlay for sure.
Yeah, like so many weapons, be it down low, you got shooters, you got mid-range gods. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna be very difficult to cover that. It's really just gonna be shootouts. I feel like that's gotta be the strat.
yeah,
Definitely one of the
no,
more
for real.
exciting teams coming in this season.
I definitely think they will have a turnaround compared to last year. It was kind of disappointing how they went from so high to so low in literally a season.
Yeah,
So even though the West is stacked, I think they could be able to compete at a high level and possibly get back to that first season where Mike Brown was coaching the Kings. But yeah, DeMar on the Kings is a huge move. I think it'll just come down to who scores more, right? Rather than defense being played. But
yeah,
I think it'll still be good, entertaining basketball.
for sure. All right, and then a team that you're sleeping on. Who's that one team that you're changing the channel when they're playing?
Look no further than this team right here. All right. I gotta first year of the podcast, I put my belief in them. I said they're going to the finals. Didn't even come close. Second year, all I did was doubt them. Like Angel had high hopes for them. Like, hold your horse. Didn't matter. They also fell short. This year, I'm not a doubter. I'm just a full blown hater. This is such a sad organization. They will never win anything. You know, even if they do like turn heads this season, I don't care, bro. They're a nothing team to me. It doesn't help that Kawhi will be recovering from surgery. Like they're already saying like he's probably not there for opening the season. That's fine with me, bro. You can like tank. I think that would be more exciting than them trying to compete at this point. They got all this money spent on all these players for all these years, and the most they've ever come up with is a Western Conference Finals appearance. And now they don't even have Paul George. This season really feels like for these players, like all these role players and stuff, just increasing their trade value. Because like as a Clippers fan, what hope do you really have? Like it can't be like I don't see any bright spots to come. So if you are a Clippers fan, I'm sorry to you. But yeah, I can't stand them this season.
I will say Clippers fans are very loyal. Like they are like some of the most diehard fans in the NBA. I'm not going to say Ballmer doesn't care about the team, but it definitely seems like he cared more about the Intuit Dome more than the Clippers as of right now, which makes sense. And it'll probably come a point in time. Maybe Kawhi leaves, especially because Paul George left. Maybe within a season or two. I don't know when his contract ends or whatever. Or maybe he goes for early retirement. Who knows? But
He would be the one to surprise us.
exactly. So yeah, I don't know. The Clippers are just, I feel like they're in that weird purgatory state right now that I was talking about, with the Sixers. They're not, at least for me, they're not really contending anymore, but they're definitely not rebuilding. So they're just out there shooting hoops.
Yeah,
Like
they're they're almost like John Wall Wizards, where they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're gonna lose in the first round. Like
right.
that's what they are. Like that's how they feel to me is like the John Wall Wizards. Like, yeah, they're gonna go, but like they're not gonna do anything. They might like maybe win 2 or 3 games, but like at most, they're probably a first round exit now. And like what's really crazy is that like it seemed like every attempt they had on building upon of what they already had just failed. Like, let's get John Wall. Oh, he's out of there. Let's get James Harden. He's not really living up to what we wanted. Let's get I don't know. Like it's just let's get Russ. He's gone. It just seems
Yeah.
like every time they try to build upon having Kawhi, it just didn't work out. And like to the point where like he's the last man standing. But like in reality, they don't really have Kawhi either because that man's probably gonna play at most 40 games this season and be gone, like, and probably not even play for most of the postseason as well. So it really does feel like the Clippers are in like no man's land. Where like, oh shit, they're gonna make the playoffs, but like at the same time, that's probably worse than them not making it because like they won't be able to get a rookie that could actually put some life into this team. Like it's hard to get excited about the rebrand, about the dome, when you know that at most you're like a fifth seed team who's gonna lose in the first, second round. You know?
Mhm. And like with that too, I guess, like what what's their next steps? Like let's say, Kawhi goes elsewhere, whether that's still in the NBA or not. What's what's next for them? Because he's their essentially only player and he's not playing, basically. So it's like obviously they're gonna rebuild, but they also still have trade value. So if they were to trade him, where is he going? And what are they getting out of it? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
because I don't see
something to
anyone.
keep it's just something to keep in mind.
Mhm.
I honestly, yeah, I cannot see them rebuilding because the dome is literally opening up like this season. They're probably gonna try to get another like big name to fill the seats for the next 2 years. But like, yeah, bro, I also like who's gonna pick up Kawhi as a
Right.
GM. Do you really want to pay someone millions of dollars to sit on the bench and not smile?
And not even enjoy his time.
I don't know. That is me. I know GMs are kind of dumb, so you probably will get picked up. But like, I don't know. The Clippers are kind of weird. You can't. Yeah, I see why you're sleeping on them because like, I don't even care, bro. Like, good for them if they go to the playoffs, but also who cares if they don't?
I think if they do try to pull some sort of trade out of their ass, the only one I could see really happening is Brandon Ingram, only because the Pelicans don't want to pay him. And if the Clippers are like desperate, like stay relevant for the sake of their like new arena and stuff, it would probably be Brandon Ingram.
True. That's a good point.
So for my sleepers, I actually have two, and I'll talk about it a little bit when I explain these two, but my sleepers would probably be the Mavericks, and now they weren't before, and now the Timberwolves. The Mavericks, you know, I mean, the Mavericks are the Mavericks. I'm probably going to sleep on them until they can prove otherwise that they're really championship contenders. I still don't necessarily see them as such. Even if they were to go to the finals, as they have been, it's just kind of hard to compete with no bench. So, just kind of with that aspect, and then along with Klay Thompson, although I am excited to see them all play with each other, I just I physically need to see it, like how it would work, and like it would give me a better understanding of like just how their whole system works and how Jason Kidd is like thinking, you know what I mean? And then for the Timberwolves, they weren't originally a sleeper, but now that they got rid of Cat, who knows how that's all gonna work out. And then I guess for me, like the Knicks are kind of a low-key exciting team, but also it's just kind of like, how is Tibbs gonna make that work? Especially after losing Randall, who played a big role in that offense. It kind of ties into a lot, but yeah, my sleepers would probably be the Wolves and the Mavericks.
I will say I wasn't sleeping on the Mavs, but like out of all the moves that happened, even including the Cat move, the Klay Thompson move was the one I looked at, read the article, and then never thought about since, bro. I could care less about this Klay move, bro. I wanted him to go to the Magic so badly. And when he went to the Mavs, I was just kind of like, all right, dude, cool. Like, you could have just, no, get bench players, bro. Like, what are you doing? You don't need another big name, honestly. Luka and Kyrie are your production. Get people who will do all the dirty work, and they went and got another, I don't want to say washed up, but like, come on, bro. Klay Thompson on the Warriors is. I think that's what the Mavs are gonna get. I hate to say it, but you don't have that kind of injury. Like, he's not gonna pick it back up because like no one really. If you're performing like that after an injury like that, that's basically how you're gonna perform for the rest of your career.
Right.
It's pretty much like game over. That's why it's such a horrible injury, because if they come back looking shaky, that's it. It's game over. Like, that's who they are now as a player. It's what happened to Middleton. It's like happens to so many guys that, like, I don't know. I get why you're sleeping on the Mavs for sure, because like everyone's so high on them, and it's kind of like, why? Why are you so high on them?
I'm glad someone said that because I also wasn't super excited about Klay on the Mavs. Because like you look at what he had last year, like Steph Curry has all of the attention getting Klay free looks, and too many times I watched Klay clang a wide open shot, and it's definitely like it looks like he's thinking about his shot. It delays him, it throws himself off, and I don't know where this is stemming from. If he's reading Instagram comments too much, and I don't think being on the Mavs is necessarily going to help that either. May even make it worse in some instances, because this team has super high expectations. Like they just came from the finals. The expectation is they go back again. They go back and win it. It just feels like the noise is getting too loud, and he's not as fast as he used to be. He's not as athletic as he used to be, and he's not as confident as he used to be. So.
Yeah, like the eyes are definitely on him because he's expected to be a large contributor, which is why I want him to go to the Magic, because he was probably just expected to show up to the game if he's on the Magic, whereas on the Mavs, Dallas fans are full on expecting him to make them a big three, and like I just don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm glad you said that, Eugene, because I feel like a lot of people are like so excited for the Mavs, and I'm kind of like, we are excited for the Mavs too many seasons in a row. Like, it's time to like start being realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Timberwolves, Yeah, bro. Way to kill all momentum.
All the hype, everything.
Yeah, bro. The more the more I think about the the cat trade, the more I think about how the Knicks won and how the Timberwolves really did lose. At first, I was thinking they both lost, but like the more I think about it, bro, the Timberwolves definitely lost. You had a chance to go to the finals, and instead of building upon it, you kind of kill it and get rid of the face of the guy like that helped you get to the finals. Like it was Ant and Cat all the way. And now it's kind of like, bro, you still have Rudy Gobert on that fat contract. Like Julius Randle, he's a solid player, but he's not who I thought the Timberwolves needed. I wasn't sitting here thinking, be like, you know who would take him all the way? Julius Randle. Like, no, bro, no one was thinking that shit.
And
So
I mean, to go off of your cap point too, like, bro, they drafted this fool, bro. Like
yeah,
he's seen it and been through it all with this team. So for them to just literally trade him away, like literally nothing, it was just kind of like, come on, bro.
yeah,
I think, at least for me, this will be a very exciting regular season team, but like the Sixers, not a very interesting playoff team. Because I think Julius Randle does bring decision making. Like for a power forward, he does handle the ball quite a bit and has relatively high assists for his position. But come playoff time, he has struggled. Like he has not broken like regular season performer versus playoff because you just keep him out of the paint. He's so limited in his offense, and with Rudy Gobert there, it's only going to make it worse. So it definitely makes it even worse off for Anthony Edwards. He's not going to have the space he wants. Um, it is Anthony Edwards. Like he can make magic happen. We can see what he can drum up. So regular season fun, playoff woes. I expect.
mhm. For me, mine's kind of a cop out, but I feel like it was bound to happen, and I kind of feel like everyone is probably doing the same as me. I'm sleeping on the Hawks, bro. Like after that DeJounte Murray trade, there's nothing to be excited about in Atlanta. I'm waiting for Trae Young to request a trade again. It's gonna happen any moment now, bro. At this point, it kind of seems like the Hawks just fumbled the bag. You know, like they haven't been exciting since that Eastern Conference run, and like that was years ago. That's when Ben Simmons was expected to be a great player in the league. Like that's how long it's been since that run. And it's almost like after they traded DeJounte Murray away, it's like, now what, bro? What are we doing? What is
Right.
Atlanta trying to do right now?
They went back to square one where they were
Yeah,
at before.
exactly. It's like it's almost like Trae Young's probably sitting there being like, bro, this is getting drafted all over again. Except I'm not a rookie. Like it's like they lost so many pieces since that run. And like the only people I feel like who's still there, as far as I can remember, is Trae Young and Clint. Like those are the only two guys left standing. And at this point, it's like, when is he gonna ask for that trade? He asked for that trade when they were looking better. I can't imagine how quickly he's gonna ask for that trade now that they're looking a lot worse. They barely made it to the play-ins last year, bro. Like I'm full on sleeping. I'm waiting for the rebuild. I'm waiting to see where Trae Young goes.
It feels like they always delay moves they should have made. Like John Collins was only traded last year after being years of trade rumors for him.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter is still on the team, and he doesn't really complement Trae Young. Clint Capella should have been traded years ago, especially when you have Onyeka Okongwu, who
Hmm.
is basically a better Clint Capella at this point.
Yeah.
Um, Jalen Johnson at least is a bright spot. He's the only one I can see like being a true second to Trae Young, but like he's only like in his second or third year coming up, and the rest of the team is pretty iffy too. Like I think Trae himself called like this draft like a bunch of good role players, which basically like calling the first overall pick here like a role player, which he very well could be true. That's what it's looking like. Um, yeah, I totally get what you mean.
All right. Well then, ending on that note, it is time. Our favorite time of the year, the wheel spin. If this is your first time watching with us, as you can see in our hot seat, we have 2 Western Conference watchers and 1 Eastern Conference watcher. And so to spice it up, and so we're not talking about the same 3 to 5 teams, we're each going to spin a wheel of the opposite conference. So that way more teams are talked about and also kind of makes it more interesting for us. You know, we're forced to watch a team. We're going to watch it anyways, or watch a team that we wouldn't have watched and now have no choice.
You want to talk about our previous teams before you
Yes,
spin?
I was gonna say, how was your experience with your team last year?
It was good until it wasn't. I had the Bucks, so it was like, we're trying to keep up with the Celtics the whole time, and then, kind of flame out in the playoffs, which kind of sucks. Hopefully they have a better, or I guess hopefully their season turns out a little bit better than last season, this season. Because they acquired Dame, going to a new city, that whole feeling out process or whatever. Now that's all over. He finds himself more fitting within the team and the city and whatnot, and they can get it going, but don't necessarily want them again.
Yeah, I think everyone thought you won the wheel spin for sure, and then out of nowhere, Doc Rivers is made the head coach. And
After like 30 games,
yeah, and yeah, and now they have Darvin Ham. Like, bro,
it's chicken wraps, bro.
that coaching staff this is not gonna do shit, bro. Let's be honest. But yeah, everyone definitely thought you won the spin for sure. Like, I even had someone commented on TikTok saying like you got so lucky because you got the Bucks and everyone was so hyped for them. And then it just like they just didn't perform and Doc Rivers was made head coach. And I think that's the moment we all realized that like, oh, this is not gonna go the way we thought. What about you, Vaughn? How was your team?
I got a surprise better than I could have asked for. I think in the preseason before, I called the Timberwolves like a play-in team barely making the playoffs, and then they take down the reigning champs in playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get much better than that, So I just got very lucky last year. Favorite team, spin the wheel. Favorite team just went so far. But now, I can feel it. I can feel doom in my future. I feel like I'm gonna get humbled real quick here.
Yeah. Yeah, another surprise, except in the opposite. No one, I don't think anyone thought you had a bad team per se, but like everyone for sure was like surprised with how far they went, and another surprise for the wheel. For me, I had the Raptors last year, which was insane because right before I spun the wheel, I went on a rant about how much I hate the Raptors, and I ended up getting them. And I think I'm the only guy who didn't get surprised because they were exactly how I thought it was going to go. A boring season of L's, and not even Grady Dick can bring me joy as he was going up and down to G League to Raptors first team. And it was just a rough year for sure.
Yeah, it is crazy when your highlight is a jersey swap between him and Anthony Black. Like,
No,
that
for
was your
real.
highlight.
Not only that, but they got rid of more pieces like during the year. And I was excited to get Barrett, but um, you know. Anyways, I am excited though. Hopefully, I can get a good team this year. Let me share my screen. So we're gonna kick things off with you, Eugene.
All right,
As you can see, every year, the amount of teams change. Vaughn has 15. Me and Eugene have 16 teams to choose from. And the 2 bottom teams from that conference are on there twice. So this year, it's the Pistons and the Hornets are on there twice.
Oh
Right off
wait,
the
do we? Because I saw the Bucks on there again. We are allowed repeats.
yeah, you're allowed repeats.
Okay, I bet.
The only team that's not on there is, of course, the Celtics.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Eugene, one team you want, one team you don't want.
Well, nobody wants the Pistons or even the Hornets. A team bro, the East is so bad. I mean, I would take the Pacers again. I'll take the Sixers. The Cavs are kind of like, eh. I'll take the Knicks. Nets, Bulls are terrible. Bulls are in like that Raptors position. Yeah, bro. There's not too many teams that I do want. It would probably just be like the Sixers, Knicks, I guess the Cavs.
So
Not
it's basically you're doomed then. You're not
yeah, like
you have a very slim chance of getting there's only 3 teams you're excited for. Yeah, it's pretty you ready?
just don't give me the Pistons or the Hornets. That's all I ask.
All right.
The Nets isn't any better, but I mean, it wasn't the Pistons or the Hornets, so that we'll take it.
Eugene is now a Brooklyn Nets fan. So before we move on, what is one positive and one negative about the Brooklyn Nets, Eugene?
I mean, a positive of that is that they're a young team, so hopefully we'll see progression among the players this season. You know, we don't see too many egos, which is kind of hard with the younger players, but really want what's his name? Cam Johnson, you know, to have a bigger role on that team. Maybe Nick Claxton, you know, have a bigger defensive presence. You know, kind of, you know, hopefully maybe, I don't know, get in the depoy conversation at least. A negative is also that they're a young team, so they're probably not going to be exciting to watch, and they haven't been exciting to watch for quite some time now. Even when they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden on that team. So, you know, nobody likes to watch a rebuild happen, but here we are.
Negative Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that too.
All right. Vaughn, because he's our only Eastern Conference fan, he has 15 teams, and your 2 bottom teams were the Spurs and the Blazers. So, looking at the wheel now, one team you want, one team you don't want.
Luckiest I could get is a Thunder pull, like
True.
possible MVP on the way. You know, they're young, but they're also very good right now. Like that's as good as it would get. Worst possible landing would be the Clippers for sure, because I just talked all that shit on them.
No, for real.
That would be devastating to me.
Would you be okay with having the Timberwolves again?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I actually came to love the team a lot last season, so that's not something I would be disappointed with at all.
All right. Let's see what you get. No way.
No.
Oh, no, you got so lucky.
Oh my god.
No fucking way.
I'm like, I don't know if that's any better though.
All right.
I got
Vaughn is now a Golden State Warriors fan, bro.
We almost had a Raptors incident right there though.
No, for real. All right, Vaughn. One positive, one negative about the Golden State Warriors.
The greatest shooter on earth. I get to
No,
watch
for
that
real.
man. Probably a lot of 50-point games on the way. I won't lie. Negative, bro. They will be struggling to get into play-ins. They made no improvements. They lost Clay. They replaced him with DeAnthony Melton. It's going to be a rough season.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird to see the downfall of the Warriors, and you get to witness it firsthand.
It
All
really is
right.
like the fall of Rome right here.
No,
just gotta
for
be
real.
The watcher, yeah. So
All right. For me, I already said it. I don't want the Hawks, bro. I cannot have this happen again. If I get I just want a semi decent team. We've done this podcast. This is technically season 3. I've gotten nothing but bad teams. I got the Hornets the first time, and I got the Raptors the second time. So team I want, just any team that's gonna make it to the play-ins, bro. I don't care, bro. I don't even care if it's the Bulls. I don't care if it's the like sad ass like team that just like kind of struggles to get there. I just want a team that's gonna land above 10th, bro. That's all I want. Like that's all I want is a team who won't finish 11th to 15th. That's all I want from this. Okay.
Pistons.
No fucking way, dude.
I thought to call it at first.
That's so insane.
Hey, I mean, you have the hope of LaMelo Ball carrying, so.
bro, welcome back to the Charlotte Hornets fan base.
I am so pissed, dude.
You return.
Pro and con. Pro. I can see if Brandon Miller is really really gonna improve. I mean, he was looking like out of all the lottery picks, he was looking at like one of the more solid ones. We all thought it was gonna be Scoot and Wemby and all that, but Brandon Miller was actually looking pretty solid. So I'm excited to see if that's like a fluke or not. LaMelo Ball is always fun to watch if he plays. He probably won't though. Cons. Charlotte Convicts. Literally one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NBA.
Michael Jordan still owns the team.
Michael Jordan still owns the team. There's never ever a bright light in Charlotte in general. So why expect a bright light with their basketball team? No one in Charlotte's happy, so why is anyone on the team happy? And then yeah, of course I'm back. That's a negative. I was hoping to watch a different team, but I'm once again a Charlotte Hornet fan. Maybe this year is the year I'll actually buy some Charlotte Hornets merch because I might as well keep it because I might get the team again next year. So why don't we go through all of our teams and predict where they're landing, starting with let's go with our actual teams to our new teams. So Eugene, where do you think the Lakers will land this year?
I'm hoping at least a 5 or 6. Realistically, maybe a 7 or an 8. Because like it's kind of hard to say, with all the, with how stacked the West is right now.
True.
And I haven't watched any preseason basketball, so I'm hoping for 5 or 6, but realistically maybe 7 or 8, and then kind of weave our way, through the playoffs. Yeah, the Nets. Where did they even finish last year?
Last year they were 11th.
They were 11th. So
They were
that's
4
play-in,
games
right?
behind the Hawks.
4 games behind the Hawks. Behind the Hawks.
And now no Mikal Bridges.
They're not going to get any better. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's probably their peak 11. maybe sneak in a 10 because all those teams are probably like a game and a half within each other.
Hmm.
10 or 11 probably max. That's what
Yeah.
I see for the Nets.
Yeah. I think I have nothing to add because I was gonna say Lakers, yeah, 5 or 6. Nets probably either barely sneaking into 10 or staying at 11. Um, yeah, with the West, it's so hard to predict because like if you look at the top 3 teams, they're all like one game or exactly the same.
Mhm.
So for the Lakers, like they can land up as 5th, and all they have to do is just win like 2 more games than they did last season, which is
Yeah,
very
exactly.
possible. Very
But
possible.
but then for the West, bro, like we also gotta put into consideration the Grizzlies, bro. Like I know Jaw did just kind of like sprain his ankle or whatever, but fully healthy, they could be somewhere in the mix, which would change the entire picture.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The West is looking crazy.
Yeah, for real. What about you, Vaughn? Where do you see the Celtics landing, and where do you see the Warriors landing?
Even with Porzingis' recovery, they're probably still a 1 seed, but the Knicks are a threat. They got better. So I'd say 2 at least. I'm pretty confident about that, especially since they look so good heading into the season. Warriors. So they were 10 last season. I think that might be their best this season, if
Do you
not
think?
worse.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you think there's a chance or like that they just won't make even the play-ins?
It's probably more likely they don't, unless Pajemski really does take Clay's starting spot and is better than ever. You'd have to be like a 20-point scorer, basically. That's pretty steep to expect from a sophomore. Even if Jonathan Kuminga improves, it's just basically the same team, but a little worse. So as a team, I don't see them climbing the standings compared to last year. It's either neutral or bottoms out. Uh,
So you think
Especially,
it's gonna be Curry's LeBron,
yeah,
first time and with not being in the playoffs in forever.
this might look like that season when after 2019 when Clay was injured, KD was gone, Draymond was injured, and then eventually Steph did, I think, go out with a wrist injury. It feels the same energy like that season. Um, yeah, I don't have high hopes for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. 10 is their highest because at most Clippers got worse, but at the same time, Grizzlies are back, Spurs are better. Like,
And like
and
even
like
mid teams like the Rockets, they got young guys who will probably improve. Um, like
the Jazz still have a chance, like they did it the year before. Like,
yeah.
bro, if I'm a Warriors fan, you're gonna be lucky if your team makes it to the plans, bro. Honestly, Steve Kerr, time to learn Chinese, buddy. Once Curry's out of there, so is your job. And then Celtics, yeah, bro. Like, there's no way they fall out of that top 3. It's gonna be shocking if they do. It's got to be like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown and Drew Holiday. Like, bro, like there's no way you fall out of the top 3 unless Doc Rivers somehow gets the job. Like, I don't see it happening. Nuggets. I think honestly we're gonna get the first seed this year. I think I'm not like doubting the Thunder because like they are a really solid team, but I feel like it's gonna be hard to like do that again where like you win the first seed at such a young age. Um, I think the only team that was close were like the Timberwolves, Clippers, and Mavs were the only ones that were close. Because I think the Suns were like kind of far off towards the end. They started losing a lot, and I feel like the Clippers and the Wolves got worse, and then the Mavs. If the Klay Thompson thing does actually work out, I don't think it's gonna work out to where they get first seed. Like that's kind of hard to see. So I really think the Thunder is our only competition to knocking us out of that first seeding. And I feel like I can easily be proven wrong, but I don't think they can. That was such a spectacular year. I don't think they can replicate it, honestly. But like they could easily prove me wrong because like they have proven everybody wrong so many years in a row now. One more year won't be surprising. Hornets. I honestly don't see them, bro. I honestly do not see them getting any higher. I think if anything, the Wizards, like, I just gotta hope the Wizards do awful again. Like the only thing stopping them from being really bad was the Wizards and the Pistons, but they were still an awful team, and I just don't see that. I just don't see them going anywhere. Honestly, it's such a sad sight to see.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, at least LaMelo Ball is supposed to be wearing like those Steph Curry ankle braces, so he doesn't like re-aggravate his ankle injuries. So hopefully you get a full season of LaMelo Ball. Like that's been such a cap on the Hornets throughout the years. LaMelo's always hurt, you know. But here's the hoping you actually see him. Miles Bridges is still on the team. He'll give you 20 points. Off the court, it's whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Look at him off the court. Josh Green, 3-and-D, I guess. Brandon Miller, like you said, is a bright spot. Yeah, I can't even stand here and lie to you. It's gonna be bad, bro.
It's definitely gonna be bad.
Said no optimism.
I think that's all we have for today. Next week's episode is gonna be our season predictions tier list kind of thing that we always do. We're gonna be doing that 2 days before the actual season, so you know, I'm biased. No, we're just gonna go into it blindly. I don't think any of us watch preseason games, to be honest. And even if you do, they literally mean nothing. Like you can do good in the preseason, it doesn't matter if that doesn't reflect anything at all. So yeah, if you're looking for the audio format, we're on all podcast platforms. So make sure you go over there, give us that good old 5 stars, leave a review. We're on YouTube for video formats. Make sure you like and subscribe there. Let us know who you're excited for, who you are sleeping on, and who got the best team and who got the worst team. And then we're also on all social media platforms at Spin the Rock for clips and episode updates. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week.